السلام عليكم ومرحبا وأهلا وسهلا بكم. Peace and hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Top Arabic Vocabulary course, where we're continuing with food and drink, الطعام والشراب. I'm going to help you learn lots of useful Arabic vocabulary and at the same time useful conversation and wean you off the critics of vowels. هل أنتم جاهزون? Are you ready? Today's lesson is going to be really interesting because I'm going to take you to Subway and we're going to be ordering our food in Arabic and reading the menu in Arabic. So even if you're an intermediate learner or an advanced learner, you're going to find something interesting. Last lesson, we managed to read this menu without diacritics in Arabic, and as well we managed to read in flight food menu like on board an airplane. So if you'd like to go back and watch that lesson, you can. I'll leave the link up there and I'll leave the link down below in the comments, so make sure to check it out if you've missed it. So today we're at Subway. نحن في Subway. How is that written in Arabic? So sa with the sa, and you can see the ya is actually written that way. So sa, when you say sub, that's the sa in Arabic. That's another trick for you to pronounce that tricky emphatic sa sound. Subway. Hayya bina. Do you think you can read this menu in Arabic? Let's see. Next lesson, by the way, we're going to go to a Lebanese restaurant. سوف نذهب إلى مطعم لبناني, and that's going to be my favorite lesson. لأنني لبنانية, because I'm Lebanese. And we're going to also be having coffee after we're done with all the food. I'm going to invite you for a cup of coffee at my favorite coffee shop, Costa Coffee. So that's going to be in the upcoming lessons. So stay tuned, make sure that you subscribe and that you like the video and that you turn on your notifications. لا تنسوا الإعجاب بالفيديو. Don't forget to like the video والاشتراك في القناة and to subscribe to the channel. هيا بنا. Let's go. Let's start. هيا نبدأ. So what's the meaning of sandwiches in Arabic? So the proper Arabic term, although to be honest, we use sandwichat. So most often, we're just going to use the English term and we're going to write it in Arabic letters, just like that, sandwichat. However, the official standard Arabic name is شطائر with the ta, not شطائر, شطائر, شطائر. That means sandwiches. طازجة, that means fresh. And if you've done the previous lessons, you would know that طازج means fresh. شطائر طازجة. And the singular is شطيرة. شطيرة, that is one sandwich. You have another plural, شطيرات. So you can say شطيرات أو شطائر طازجة, fresh sandwiches. أهلا وسهلا بكم في Subway. تفضلوا. Come in. Okay, first question is normally what kind of bread would you like? What kind of bread do you prefer? So we can ask ما نوع. نوع is a kind, and we're asking with the question tool ما, what? So what kind of bread? ما نوع الخبز الذي تريده? What kind of bread is it that you prefer? And this pronoun over here goes back to al-khubz, because al-khubz is a masculine noun. Everything in Arabic is either masculine or feminine. We don't have anything in between. So even food is masculine or feminine. Khubz is a masculine noun. It doesn't have any round ta at the end. It doesn't have any of those feminine endings. So we're going to say نوع الخبز الذي. We're going to use the relative pronoun الذي تريده. And we're going to use the ha object pronoun over here. We can say, what kind of bread is it that you prefer? I'm just saying the literal translation. ما نوع الخبز الذي تفضله? From verb فضل, to prefer. Or we can say, which kind of bread do you want or do you prefer? أي نوع من الخبز تريد؟ أو أي نوع من الخبز تفضل? It's up to you how you want to ask the question. There are different ways, and I've just written here a few for you. So just remember, نوع is a kind. نوع الخبز, the kind of bread. And obviously in Arabic, we haven't got that thing like in English you say, which kind of bread would you like? We don't really say, would you want? We say, would you like? But in Arabic, we just say, which kind of bread is it that you want? So we use the verb to want, and that's fine. أنواع الخبز, kinds of bread. أنواع الخبز. So the plural of نوع, أنواع. أنواع الخبز, kinds of bread. Okay, so let's say you're the person serving over there. So you can say, how to say something is there. So just as in English, you would say there is. In Arabic, هنا is here. هناك means there. So we say the same thing. There is هناك. Obviously, we don't use is because in Arabic, when we're in the present, normally we do not use verb to be. So literally there or there is. هناك. We can say I have عندي, and we've discussed using the adverbial عند, which means at, in previous lessons. So you can go back to find out how to say I have in Arabic, and I'll leave more links down below. Or you can say يوجد. That means something exists, using verb to exist. يوجد. So you can say هناك and say what you have, أو عندي as well. I have, so there is, عندي, I have, يوجد, something exists or there is. 3 different ways. خبز is bread, we know that already. حبوب means literally grains or cereal. حبوب can also mean anything that's basically in kind of like dots or little circles. So حبوب, maybe if you get zits on your face, that's also حبوب. And if you take medication, tablets or pills, we call them حبوب, حبوب الدواء. So anything that basically is like a little grain or a dot, حبوب. So خبز بالحبوب, that means bread with grains or cereal. خبز بجبنة البارميزان والأعشاب. جبنة is cheese, and we know that from the previous lessons. Parmesan obviously is the same as in English. Sometimes we just write English terms in Arabic letters. أعشاب means herbs. أعشاب, herbs. خبز أبيض. خبز أبيض إيطالي. So white bread, أبيض. And you can go back to the colors lesson if you're not sure. Italy, that means Italian, but we use the emphatic t to refer to Italy. So we don't say Italy, we say Italia, Italia, Italia. So Italy, that means Italian, with the suffix. The ya at the end is like when you say I-A-N, Italian. So خبز أبيض إيطالي. What about brown bread? خبز أسمر. Asmar. And also if you're referring to people who have a bit of a tan or are brown, we can say شاب أسمر, like a tanned or brown young man. أو شابة سمراء, for a woman, سمراء. And you can go back to the lesson about describing people for more information. But over here we're describing our bread. So خبز أسمر أو خبز القمح الكامل. خبز القمح الكامل. قمح is wheat. Kamil is whole, so it means whole wheat bread. So you can say خبز أسمر, brown bread, or whole wheat bread, خبز القمح الكامل. So one more time, هناك خبز بالحبوب، وهناك خبز بجبنة البارميزان والأعشاب، وعندي خبز أبيض إيطالي، ويوجد خبز أسمر أو خبز القمح الكامل. What about bread with oats and honey? خبز شوفان. شوفان is oats. شوفان بالعسل with honey. And you can use the preposition be, as you've noticed, it means with. So if I say I write with a pen, أنا أكتب بالقلم. I write with the pen. So oat bread with honey. خبز شوفان بالعسل. عسل is honey. What about sesame bread? That's going to be easy because it has the same letters just as in English. Sesame, in Arabic, that's sim, 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 sim. And you might know like open sesame, افتح يا سمسم. So خبز بالسمسم, that's sesame bread. Now my tricky challenge for you, try to read and recall what I've just said without the vowels. Do you think you can read this one? So we know that's khubz. What about this? So when you see that preposition, it's likely that it's going to be. Can you read that one? I'm going to count to 3. واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة. أحسنتم. خبز بالحبوب. Okay, what about this one? We just said this one literally just now. And that's going to be easy to read because شوفان, it's self-explanatory. You don't really need a dhamma over here because you have the long vowel, the waw, and you have the long vowel, the alif. And you know that's a B. بالعسل. خبز شوفان بالعسل. خبز بالحبوب. What about this one? Remember the talking about tanned people. A handsome tanned man. What would we call him? أسمر. أسمر. So خبز أسمر. ممتاز. أحسنتم. What about whole wheat bread? خبز القمح الكامل. ممتاز. What about sesame bread? What was the word? سم سم. خبز بالسمسم. أحسنتم. White bread, white Italian bread. خبز أبيض إيطالي. أحسنتم. Can you read the bottom one? It's a slightly trickier, longer one. The Parmesan and herbs bread with cheese. خبز B. أحسنتم. جبنة. أحسنتم. جبنة البارميزان والأعشاب. ممتاز. رائع. Congratulations. مبروك. Okay, let's see now if we can read this menu. Remember the plural word for kind or types. What would that be in Arabic? We know نوع is a kind in the plural. Let me hear that clearly. أنواع. ممتاز. أنواع الخبز. أحسنتم. And it just says over here, freshly baked. مخبوز طازج. Freshly baked. Okay, now I'm just going to make them bigger so you can see each one. Can you read this one? Let's try to read. I'm just going to read this part for you. Za'atar is literally thyme. Za'atar is thyme. I think they've translated here as oregano. So can you read this word? That's really easy. That's from English. So that's parmesan. Parmesan plus za'atar. And it says here, I think you can probably read that, calorie. And it tells you the number of calories. Mumtaz. So we're starting to read real life, actual menus in Arabic. We don't want to just learn Arabic like from books. We need to learn it as a living language for communication that's going to be helpful in real life. And in real life, we don't really use vowels or their critics, unfortunately. So you have to train your brain. And what you can actually do is whatever you learn in these lessons, create your own document, write the word with the vowels on this side, let's say, and then write them without the vowels on this side, write the English translation on this side. And what you can do is actually cut the paper from that side and then you can train your brain to read without the vowels, and you can even fold or just fold it. You can keep it in one, but you can fold it from this side and this side, and that's how you learn. Even if it's just like a couple of words each week. Make sure that those words are relevant and useful. For example, is what we're doing in this course, basically. That's very helpful. Can you remember the word for sesame? السمسم. أحسنتم. السمسم. And that's like basically the calories. Okay, you know this word. What was that word for grains? حبوب. حبوب. ممتاز. And we know that 7 is سبعة, so that should be السبع حبوب. The 7 grains. ممتاز. رائع. We are making some progress here. نحن نحرز تقدما. هيا بنا. Can you read that one? أنواع الخبز. ممتاز. Types of bread. مخبوز. طازج. Fresh. Italian. الإيطالي. ممتاز. أحسنتم. That basically just says تخفيضات. That means literally discount. Oops. And what was wheat? What was wheat? Can you remember the word for wheat? قمح. أحسنتم. القمح. ممتاز. رائع. What was oats with honey? So that's the word for oats. Can you read it? That's going to be really easy with the long vowels. شوفان. And you know that's the preposition is going to be be. What was honey? بالعسل. شوفان بالعسل. ممتاز. رائع. أنتم رائعون. You're wonderful. And now the gentleman in the shop is asking what we would like inside the sandwich. So if he was addressing a male, he's going to say ماذا تريد في شطيرتك. If he was addressing a female, ماذا تريدين, because أنت تريدين في شطيرتك. So we're going to use the ki, your sandwich in the feminine. Okay, what's available? ما الموجود? What's available? هناك tuna. Tuna is the same as in English. Tuna, same thing. لحم is meat. We know that from the previous lesson. And a bowl is كرة, a bowl. So كرة اللحم, that's meatballs. I'm just going to go back to the previous slide so you can see them with the vowels. كرة اللحم. Turkey is ديك رومي. ديك رومي أو حبشي. So we can say ديك رومي. That means a turkey in Arabic. Dik is actually a rooster, by the way. Or dik habashi. So either or is acceptable. Shrimp or prawn, you can say قريدس أو روبيان. قريدس أو روبيان. Both are acceptable. Chicken is دجاج. We know that already. Slices of chicken. شرائح الدجاج. شرائح is slices. شرائح. Chicken breast is صدر الدجاج. Grilled is مشوي, so صدر الدجاج المشوي. Grilled breast of chicken. Notice the adjective in Arabic comes at the end. So in English we say grilled chicken breast, but in Arabic صدر الدجاج المشوي. شرائح اللحم. What do we mean by that? You probably know that شرائح is slices now, so meat slices. شرائح اللحم. رائع, ممتاز. Take a good look. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. I'm going to ask you to read it now without the vowels. 1, 2, 3. Can you read those food items for me? I'm asking you. ما الموجود? What's available? أخبرني لو سمحت أو أخبريني لو سمحت. Tell me please. لو سمحتي. تونة. كرات اللحم. ديك رومي أو ديك حبشي. قريدس. روبيان. شرائح الدجاج. شرائح اللحم. صدر الدجاج المشوي. عظيم, ممتاز, أحسنتم. Well done. Okay, هل تريد جبنة? That's normally the next question. Would you like cheese? أو هل تفضل الجبنة? Would you prefer? You can say it any way you like. And when they asked, would you like the sandwich toasted? هل تريد الشطيرة محمصة? محمصة, that means toasted. Obviously, because it's a feminine pronoun, the adjective toasted is going to take the round ta as well. And if we're pronouncing the vowel, we say محمصة. But we're just posing over here, so هل تريد الشطيرة محمصة? As simple as that. ماذا تريد في داخل الشطيرة? What would you like inside the sandwich? أو ما نوع الخضار? What kind of vegetable? ما نوع الخضار الذي تفضله? What kind of vegetables do you prefer? Okay, so we have sliced lettuce. خس مقطع. Chopped or cut, literally. In English, you say cut. In Arabic, مقطع. مقطع. Mu and cut. But with the ta, مقطع and the عين. Okay, ذرة is corn. ذرة. زيتون is olives. زيتون أسود, black olives. بصل, onions, makes you cry. بصل مفروم, chopped, مفروم again. And you can say, for example, لحم مفروم, that's minced meat as well. So chopped, it could mean mince as well. You can say مقطع, I'm just giving you different vocabulary. شرائح البندورة. بندورة is another word basically for طماطم. I prefer to add it here so you'll have that extra vocabulary. Like in Lebanon, for example, we say بندورة. But in Egypt, they say طماطم. So it depends on the country, but both are fine. خيار, obviously cucumber. فلفل or فلفل both mean pepper, and that's fine. So you get the two spellings in a dictionary. Just choose whatever you like better. فلفل or فلفل. Pick one. Which one are you going to pick? Okay. فلفل, fine. Okay. فلفل أخضر, green pepper. Or فلفل or فلفل حار. حار means spicy or hot, literally. So that's the jalapenos. مخلل is literally pickles. مخلل. مخلل. So I'm going to give you a few seconds. Look at the screen and we're going to read without the vowels. سوف نقرأ بدون الحركات. No vowels. تفضلوا. خس. What was the word for cut? مو. قطع. ممتاز. ذرة. زيتون. أسود. بصل. مفروم. أحسنتم. شرائح البندورة, or we can say طماطم, that was the other word. خيار. What was the word for pepper? فلفل or فلفل. Green. أخضر. What about spicy or hot? حار, and that's your jalapenos. What about those pickles? مخلل. That might be a bit tricky to pronounce. I'm going to give you a trick. Let's break it down. So مخلل. مخلل. Okay, sauce is salsa. Salsa in Arabic. It's not the salsa dance, but it's the salsa sauce. So, أي صلصة تفضل? What kind of sauce do you prefer? We can say ما نوعه, which, this means which sauce do you prefer? And this is ما نوعه, what kind of sauce? ما نوع الصلصة التي تفضلها? Remember in the previous slide, it was, for example, ما نوع الخضار الذي تفضله, because it was a masculine noun. But over here, we're using التي because it's a feminine noun. So using the feminine relative pronoun. And we're using the ها feminine object pronoun. تفضلها. So we have صلصة الطماطم, tomato sauce, or صلصة البندورة, same. Al-ketchup, you guessed it right. We can also say al-ketchup. So sometimes we write the English words in Arabic letters, and that's very common nowadays. Mustard is al-khardal. Mustard, al-khardal. And olive oil, زيت الزيتون. Olive oil, al-mayonnaise. Mayo. Okay, now we're going to actually try and read the actual menu. So a sandwich شات المختارة. That's how it's written. That's going to be really easy, honestly. Subway melt, they just wrote it again in Arabic letters. I think you might know this one. Tuna. Sometimes they write it with the alif, sometimes with the round ta. It's the same. Tuna. فطيرة is actually a pie or a patty. So فطيرة الخضار. فطيرة الخضار, veggie patty. حلومي cheese. جبنة حلومي. And you can see it's basically the same thing. So that's easy. Calorie is calories. سلطات. سلطات, fresh. Oh, they could have written طازجة, but I told you before, we commonly now use English in Arabic letters. السندويتشات قليلة الدسم, low fat. قليلة الدسم. قليل الدسم means low fat. صدر ديك رومي, that means turkey breast. And the calories over here. دجاج peri peri. دجاج تيكا, chicken tikka. دجاج فاهيتا. صدر الدجاج المشوي. Okay, and that's it for today's lesson. We were able to read Subway's menu in Arabic. Next lesson, remember, we're going together to the Lebanese restaurant, so make sure that you turn your notifications on. شكرا لكم أعزائي. Thank you a lot. Thank you for your kind and lovely comments that you are posting always, and that keeps me going and keeps me energized and happy. So شكرا وفي أمان الله وحفظه ورعايته، وألقاكم إن شاء الله في الفيديو القادم. مع السلامة.